freemmmostation.com.
So many games to play and so many people to meet and places to see. It can be really hard deciding what to do in your spare time, but especially so for today's hardcore MMO crowd. With all this noise, hopefully we could shed light on a few masterpieces that the gaming community as a whole have been enjoying since their release. MMOs are a kind of game that take time, but can be more than worth it. So which games should you spend your time on? Let's ask and answer the question, what are the best free MMOs out right now?
Number 10.
If you've ever played World of Warcraft, then you're probably going to feel very comfortable playing here. Much of the game feel and interface is set up just like WoW, and even the combat carries a very similar and action-packed feeling. This can be good and bad though. Star Wars The Old Republic improves on a lot of things that many free-to-play games completely fail at, such as extremely good single-player experience, but also really fun player versus player, taking inspiration not just from free-to-play titles, but many MMOs past and present. The game was first sold as a subscription-based model, so even though it is completely free now, you will still be very impressed with the amount of polish it has compared to many of its competitors.
Number 9.
C9 feels like a fast-paced 3D fighter set in an MMO world. That's pretty much it. Very similar to Vindictus, this game has more of an arcade feel to it, but certainly impactful nonetheless. Character creator is something to talk about though, as it's not bad at all. However, your actual character animations are a bit stiff for such an action-packed game, which can be a turnoff for some people. Then again, it is an arcade title. This game will have players cooperating to demolish dungeons, bosses, or just a big part of the game also seems to be the competitive arenas, the PvP. What makes this game great is the end game, where the dungeons and PvP both ramp up in complexity, variety, and difficulty.
Number 8.
This game has such a unique feel that it's easy to get lost playing this brawler MMO. The anime inspiration actually shines through here, and very well, even though it focuses on the cuter aspects, the game actually has a ton of ferocity. Elsword Online plays in 2 dimensions, which can be strange to some people, a little bit awkward, but it makes this game a very unique contender in the market. Playing with a few friends is really how you should go about it. Bring them out and just enjoy the true nature of Elsword, which is its brawler nature, and just have a ton of fun.
Number 7.
Age of Wushu is a different kind of MMO. If you've ever enjoyed RuneScape or other RPGs that did not necessarily focus on the fighting or the combat, this game will be intriguing for you. It's a martial arts type of game that has a huge amount of social interaction within it. The combat is standstill, though there are mechanics in place to allow movement within battle, and the standstill combat, honestly, in this game is actually done very strategically. The game has a big world, big world, which can be discovered by double jumping and leaping from mountains and rooftops. The game has a slower pace, but it is definitely worth the time, especially if you can join a guild. Open world PvP and a wide variety of crafting are huge draws for players.
Number 6.
Hey, there's a game called Aeon, it's freaking cool. Alright, so Aeon has come a really long way from its subscription-based days. The character creator is just one of the best. Combat is also extremely colorfully done, just like the rest of the imaginative, faction-based world. It's similar to Age of Wushu though, the combat is not the singular focus of Aeon. There's a whole lot that you can do, and the unique ideas, art style, everything about this game, everything that it brings to the table, has just really helped the game world and its community just flourish.
Number 5.
Neverwinter is a Dungeons & Dragons game, though it does not compete with Dungeons & Dragons Online. It is a different title, really more of a cartoon and comical approach to the lore, more so than many other games. But while it is cartoon, it still does not lack action whatsoever. The game has challenging dungeons and even gives players, check this out, even gives players the ability to create their own dungeons. Player versus player is also fun to watch and play with the momentum-based combat as seen in games like Terra, where players, it's not standstill, but at the same time, it's not free roam or floaty. Neverwinter has crafting and unique skills between the classes that allow players to feel important in any party, similar to D&D Online. Though it does not directly compete with the game, it has a very very original take on just the fantasy lore, just Dungeons and Dragons. It's just very original for all the ideas. It has a nice twist of originality that I think everyone can enjoy, and that's why it has a number 5 slot.
Number 4.
Dragon's Nest is the definition of impact. The spells are huge, the bosses are horrifying, and the PvP is intense. Also, the story is actually not even bad. If you skip all the quest text, it's still possible to grasp the world and the plot easily with the cutscenes, and then there's just simple text with the tasks that you are given. The game is accessible, I would say, from all the way to casuals and then to hardcore players alike, both who like role-playing or those who just like to brawl. Dragon's Nest kind of harkens back to Dynasty Warriors or something like that. It also has very unique pacing between zones and cities. It almost feels like a single-player game that you're playing with buddies, and it's a little bit arcade. Dragon's Nest feels so good at the controls that even simple grinding literally is very fun, and the mechanics of the game just make it so rewarding with the dungeon difficulty settings as well, replayability, playing with your friends. It's just very good. It feels like a very fun couch co-op game that just happens to be a free-to-play MMO that you play online with random people or whatever, and you act like little kids because that's the anime style. It's kind of childish, but it's actually really hardcore. Yeah, that's Dragon's Nest. It's a whole lot of crazy.
Number 3.
Rift is big. Very, very big. While not the most original, the game does have more depth to it than most MMOs now. Think World of Warcraft, but a different art style, really. The game takes old ideas and twists them to make them new again, and the presentation of it is what sells it all. Monsters fall out of rifts which tear the sky. PvP is explosive and cunning all at once, and the story behind your character and your place in the world is a really cool idea. The class building is great, and both PvP and PvE is outrageously fun because of it. Rift gets our seal of approval for the constant updates and feedback from the developers, which really makes this MMO a living, breathing community.
Number 2.
Dark, bloody, aggressive, challenging. Some might even say scary. Vindictus is extremely action-based, but it also has a ton of strategy in place between certain bosses and dungeons. This is a very mature MMORPG which holds a lot of mystery for those interested in the story. PvP is available, but the boss encounters of this game make it worth the play entirely. Not too much needs to be said about this game because it takes very simple ideas and just hammers them in with such bloody aggression that players are forced to marvel. This game is an absolute work of art. It's an absolute right to play, especially in a party, and borderline horror if you want to play it solo.
And number 1.
Our number 1 goes to the incredibly rich world of Terra. Terra has some of the best combat, and it certainly has one of the most original worlds we have ever visited. The classes are all set up uniquely for the skill shot based combat, but it still holds true to the role trinity that we're used to in MMOs, with the healer, DPS, and tank. However, archers need to aim shots, healers need to actually aim to heal, and sword and shield users need to actually focus and time abilities as well with dodging. Quests are a bit boring and unoriginal, to be honest, but dungeons and bosses are absolutely stellar. Combat is momentum based, and this game actually gives a very good feeling of that. Character customization is also very good. Plus, the races are really unique as well, just like the rest of the world. Player versus player in Terra, of course, is nothing short of fun and frantic. So if you're looking for a game to experience something new, a deep world, and just see new faces and fight new foes, this is going to be the game for you. So, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below, and let us know how you feel, and leave honorable mentions down there for the community to discuss as well. I'm sure you're going to find a good time in each of these games, and hopefully the start of a new adventure in one of them as well. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to learn more about upcoming free-to-play games that might make our next top 10. See you later, guys. Adios, bye-bye.